Welcome everyone to Color Me Happy podcast. My name is Brandy Hofer, your host. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope everyone has been inspired to practice self-care by our current exhibition in the BHA gallery and some tips and some stories that we have shared with you in our Color Me Happy community Facebook group. Speaking of self-care, we have Dimitra Milan on as a guest today, and she talks about this specifically. And of course, this is called Dreams versus Reality. Be your own boss, because she is so young. She's 22, but age is just a number. Because I feel like she's just an old soul, and her painting career took off at an extremely early age. So she has had this crazy journey, and she speaks all about it, and the highs and lows of being involved in the art world. Her family also started the Milan Institute, and we talk about that too. I'm so proud of them and what they've done, and shared, their knowledge in the arts and uplifted so many other creatives. So be sure to check the Milan Institute out. But as well as Dimitra Milan, she has a crazy, colorful, beautiful artwork, not just a body of artwork, her whole style. And she also talks about her journey and how she came into herself as an artist and developed her style. And I hear Teddy. He's on a search for some suckbacks. That's okay. You can listen to the podcast. It is so beautiful, and I know you'll enjoy it. So I'll let you dive into that before I just tell you what it's all about right now.
Yeah. So, okay, I want to talk to you about everything you have going on. You're not very old, are you? Like, you're pretty young?
Yeah, well, I'm 22.
Okay, you're younger than I thought even. So what you guys are doing is pretty insane, I have to say, for your 22. Wow. Okay. So yeah, wait a little bit to have kids.
Yeah, I know Jake was talking with you, and he was like, we should have kids soon.
Just like I would say after 25 maybe, because then I traveled the world. I did artist residencies. I got like a strong sense of self before they take all of you, like, and even more, like more than you think you even have to give. So if you can establish like who you are, where you want to be, kind of, before you go off and you're responsible for other human beings, I think that is such a good thing. And if you can control that opportunity, why not?
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, just hold off. You're like 3 years or so. I mean, yeah, I can see how I get people excited, but just have them listen to the rest of the podcast and they'll jump off that really fast. Maybe the last one. Yeah. So, Kate, I want to know, because you guys have the Milan Institute, and when did that start?
So my parents opened the school, and it started out as just a physical location. Actually, it was a metal building in like just the middle of this farm that we had in Arizona, and people drove really far to get there. And so it started out there, and we just kind of grew past that. And so they started that in 2010, I think. And they started out with having maybe 10 people a year, like just doing small classes. Like my mom, that's a whole other story. But anyways.
That's okay. I want to hear a little bit about it if you're willing to share.
Okay. Well, she at first, didn't really want to be like an art teacher or have a school, but then, she thought like that is just not in her plans. But she felt like, oh, artists are hard to work with. They can be stubborn. And so anyways, she had, I feel like, a series of dreams where she just really felt like God was showing her, like, you're meant to have a school, and you're going to change the world with art and by helping other artists. And so she basically, like, this miracle happened. She got all this money for building out this metal building that we had on the property that was basically just a shed. And so she put in all the money into turning it into this really nice studio. And so she started teaching classes. It started out really small. We mostly had a lot of like older women, like snowbird type, coming in to learn stuff from us. And they were like the stubborn ones that she was like, thinking about. And so it really taught her how to like teach people and have patience. But then she got a passion for it. And the school definitely grew and got, a lot more traction. And um, so we were in a really small town in Queen Creek, Arizona, and I lived there my whole life. And so around the time they opened the school, maybe like a year later, I started taking classes and really just fell in love with painting. And then I started selling some pieces, and that really got me motivated, thinking I can do this. Like I can make art and pursue it. And so from a young age, like my parents really encouraged me to do that. And so, which I'm really grateful for. What was the question though? I'm sorry. I feel like I could go in many directions.
I don't know what the question was.
How did we start the school?
Going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, keep going. I love hearing about the whole thing.
So then, let's see. I'll explain the story of like how I got to be involved with the school. So they started the school then, and it was all in person. People just came to learn there at the physical location. And so then like around that time, when I was about 13, I started really getting serious about art. And
13?
I was just feeling like, okay, this is what I want to do with my life. And
Wow.
I stopped going to school, and I started doing online school. And then my sister started doing it, and there's four of us. I'm the oldest. So after that, I had so much free time. And because once you do online school, I mean, you can get it done at your own pace. So I was maybe finishing school in 2 to 3 hours. So I had like the rest of the day with so much free time. And so I was painting, and that's mostly what I did. And then, so at that point, I feel like my style was I was taking after my parents, and I was just kind of copying things that they did. And so, because both my parents are professional artists, and that's what they've been doing their whole life, and haven't really had any other jobs. So at that point, I was thinking, I really want to find my own style. And I was like 14. And then my mom started teaching this boot camp class. And so she called it portfolio boot camp. And so she had like a group of 10 artists, and we'd meet once a week. And we couldn't come to class unless we finished 4 paintings that week. And so we had to finish, start to finish, 4 pieces, bring them in, get them critiqued. And the whole design of the class was to help us really find a cohesive style with our art. And so I took it very serious and finished 4 paintings every week.
Yeah.
And then, some people in the class didn't do it, and so they just wouldn't come.
Oh no.
Yeah, but that was really great. And that was before we had our mastery program. So that comes later in the story. But I took the portfolio class 3 times because I felt like each time I was getting closer to a style, but I still wasn't like very satisfied. And so by the end of the 3rd time, I was about 15, and I felt like I really found my voice. And it happened when I painted this piece of a girl facing a fox. And or no, that was like part of the series, but I had a girl with a crow on her shoulder. And I felt like I was creating this story with the girl and adding animals into it. And so that was like the recipe I stuck with, and just kept repeating that in different ways. And
Yeah.
so it felt really good. And then I sold all those pieces, so that felt really good. And then, okay, trying to bring it back to the start. So basically, after that, I started working with this publisher, and they reached out to me. And so that was just a really amazing experience. And I worked with this publishing company for 2 years. And they basically put all my work in galleries around the US. I was in about 12 galleries, and most of them were in Hawaii. And they needed 8 originals a month finished. And so Yeah, it was a lot. I had to finish 2, like, big oil paintings every week, and it was so after 2 years, I felt so
Burnt out?
burnout, yes.
Yeah.
I felt like they were turning me into this machine, and
That's
then
right. Like, everyone hopes for that as an artist, like, "Wow, I wish I could sell my work," and then it happens, and you're like, "This sucked everything that was good out of what I was doing." You
yeah,
know?
yeah, in a way, and also, like, the feeling like you want to be discovered or have someone, like, take care of everything business side of it, and you just paint. It
Mhm.
sounds like a dream, but in reality, it's like, I realized through that experience, I don't regret it, but I realized, just how important it is and how much I wanted to be, like, my own boss and in control of and maybe if I was older and more confident, I could have been a
That
good
is quite
relationship, but
that is quite young.
I was 15 and I couldn't even legally sign a contract, but they,
That's
you
like
know, took me on.
taking, a teenager and turning them into a pop artist and, like, shoving them and then them saying, "No, no, actually." I think that actually I'm not, like, super into popular culture,
Mhm,
but I think, Will Smith's daughter, they
mhm.
tried that, and she just was so adamant
Wow,
that that was not her path.
that's
She
good.
did not like traveling, she did not like even though it was there for her, like, it
Mhm,
was right, like, all the fans, the single successes, the
yeah,
all the money, and she just was like, Dad, I'm going home, fuck you,"
mhm, yeah,
basically, like
wow,
like, no. So, and, um, probably it was, like, again, you said you didn't regret it, but probably a really great lesson to have early on,
definitely.
because that is an intense amount of,
There's a
uh
lot of pressure, yeah.
yeah, yeah, for a young person who should be just kind of being a young person, and,
Yeah, you know, a
not
lot of
having.
people did tell me that, yeah.
Yeah?
But I felt like, even though there was tons of pressure and actually I dropped out of high school at 15, like, I stopped at that point doing any school and just focused on art, because, like, what's the point? I knew I wanted to be an artist, and, anyways, I felt like because of all that pressure and painting so much, it really, brought the best out of me, and I felt like by painting that much, it really helps you solidify your voice and style, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
does bring out your best, and, you don't wanna get burnt out, and so that's, like, I eventually stopped it, but, so, anyways, that's part of the story because that's what really helped me get set in my career and, like,
Mhm.
sell my work in galleries and have them, be priced higher, and, they took care of, all that side of it, like, figuring out how much to charge per square inch, and so and it gave me a lot of confidence in what I was doing. So, I'm really grateful, and I'm grateful that, I'm alone, like, doing this independently and being my own boss, controlling my hours,
Yeah, I bet that
and
must be freeing, like, that must be a good feeling.
yeah, yeah. So after I stopped working with them, that was about the time when, my mom started teaching the mastery program, and so, she was doing this, still this is all in-person teaching, and she was feeling burnout because the mastery program is like this year-long course, and she took 12 or 15 students throughout the year, and she would, like, take them from, like, them not knowing anything, by the end of the year, they'd be a professional, and so she
Oh,
taught them yeah, everything that
4
they need
years
to know.
into one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of our, like, tagline for it, but
Oh, really?
yeah.
Cool.
So, it is possible. It
Yeah,
sounds
oh, I
crazy.
I believe it. I
Yeah.
believe if people are, thoughtful with their time and, like, persist and, like, really, like, I just think and honestly, I liked how you went to school because I feel like school could be 2 hours a day, and then you could,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah. Do what you really wanna
do
do.
real organic things outside or create
Yeah.
with your hands or things you're passionate about instead of, like,
Yes.
going all the way till 3 o'clock, like, learning history, and you're like, "Oh," I
Exactly.
just remember, like, drawing in my notebook. That's about all I did ever, and yeah, like, if you know your path, and that's the thing, not everyone does,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I think if people are just a little more efficient, it can be done, but I think that takes also special parents in a position that they are able, to do
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Like my kids will have to go to school as of right now, because
Yeah.
I'm not and plus they're really not nice when I want to learn with them. Only if I trick them kind of to it, like with play, learning through play, but that's about it. Like they won't take me seriously in any other regard. So
Yeah.
I think it's because of the situation your parents were in that influenced you so much, and you had that beautiful opportunity. But that's pretty cool, that you guys have like started that. Yeah, tell me more.
So yeah, she was teaching the mastery program and feeling burnout, and because she was the only one teaching it, like my dad, he's really supportive, and he does a lot of like side things with the school, but he's not really the one like he does teach some classes, but he's not like um, I guess leading the school brand, and so that was all her vision, and so the mastery program was her idea, and it kind of stemmed off that portfolio class. And so now the portfolio class that I was talking about earlier is just 3/4 of the way through the mastery program. That's when we teach that part. And so we really like help people find their unique style and then give them the skills to do it, and then help them brand themselves and put their art out there. So at that time, I felt like, I don't know, I had this really this yearning to start teaching and kind of help out with the mastery program. So we created the schedule where I taught some days, she taught some days, and we kind of like switched back and forth. And so we did that for like a year or so, and then what happened? We started, I can't remember, I think it was about 3 years ago, we started thinking, like, we were thinking, "We should have this online," because so many people wanted to come take the mastery program, but, we could only handle 12 people at a time, there's only 2 of us, and we
Yeah.
can't be spread that thin, and so we were trying to find ways, how many people can we do a year, and just the way it was structured, it was just not possible, and we were even having people, like, it just got to the point where it was getting so popular, this idea of the master program, that people were emailing us from even other countries saying they'd come and move here to take it, and we had to have like a waiting list, and it was it was just like we couldn't handle all of it, and so we thought it'd be so good if we could just get this online, but we didn't know anyone in our surrounding area that could help us do that. We didn't even know where to start, what kind of platform to use. And so this was a few years ago before now
Wow.
everything is online, like every kind of class you want to take. So so then this guy came from Ukraine, and that's a whole like long story in itself. But we like knew his sister. My mom went to Ukraine like many years in a row and developed these like relationships with artists there, and she taught art at like these orphanages. And so this girl came, and basically we got to be good friends with her, and she came and studied with us for a while from Ukraine. And then we met her brother, and her brother's really good at the time. He was doing a lot of videography, and so it was just like they were trying to move to the US, and so it was like this perfect, like, okay, you can come live with us for a few months, film everything, help us get this online. And so by doing that, it started out with such a small thought to just do some online classes, and then it really just exploded and became this really big thing, and a whole separate like business pretty much. And so now our main focus is online, and we started this 3 years ago, but every year it's gotten bigger and more people have heard about us. And so now we
Lovely
do.
timing too, though. Like perfect.
Yeah.
It's great
Yes,
timing.
perfect timing.
Really great
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the universe is speaking to you in that
So
regard.
grateful. Yeah.
Like just to have like that right before everyone
Yeah.
got locked in their homes.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah,
And
it was
decided
great.
that they could learn from home, and
Mhm. They're
I
already acclimated to it.
yeah, and I have so many creative friends, and I did the whole university, that whole experience. And I and like I said, I don't like wasting time. I like to be very efficient. So like the sounds of your 1 year program, but
Mhm.
I just know so many artists who didn't go to school and are still making it work, right?
Yeah.
And so when people ask me, I'm just really honest with them. I'm like, I don't like, if you want to learn anything, you can do so online, and I just don't
Yes.
think you should, like, a lot of them are moms, because I obviously have a big
Yeah.
following of
Mhm.
mom creatives,
Yeah.
or parents in general. I actually get a lot of dad messages as well, but and they have kids, and they're like, should I don't know if I should go to like nursing school, or if I really want to pursue art.
Mm.
I wanted to go back to nursing, or I really want to pursue art, and I'm
Mhm.
almost signing up for, I've had that like 10 times. I'm about to sign up for, and I'm like, you're about to go back to school for 2 to
Mm.
4 years, and you
Yeah,
have
and you
a
don't need
young
to.
family? It's just
Yeah.
like, I'm honest with them, and I have nothing against university, but I experienced it, so I can say from experience, I don't think you need to do that
I agree with you.
in order to be successful and
Yeah.
pursue your passion.
It just
Uh,
takes your passion and dedication
Google
to it.
it. Yeah, Google it, and yeah, some people maybe have the inability to stay on course without that guidance, and like fast forwarding through a 1-year program, or doing something
Mhm.
else, but or taking, or joining groups,
Mhm.
or memberships, or anything, like, and having that sense of community and people who are making it work. Like, I'd far more advise them to do that, because, and they have, like,
Yeah,
I
that's
have at
cool.
least 3 mentees that have actually not gone to school because I told them not to. And it's scary. It's scary having that control or influence on
Like,
someone's
they're
life.
listening to you, yeah.
But yeah, they're like listening to my advice. So that's a bit scary, but I just feel like that was the right advice for them. And I see what they're doing, and I see their successes, and it's really rewarding, because it worked. Like, it's working. So
Mhm.
um yeah, I love everything that you guys are doing. And yeah, the timing could not have been better, really.
Mhm.
So is it still really intense for you then? Like, it must have grown exponentially, like, online.
Yeah, no, it really has, and it's really amazing, like, we have a whole community of people, who have taken the master program. Now it's over 1,000 people have gone through it,
Wow.
and, it's really cool because 'cause they're just people from all over the world who are able to learn from us, and then we have coaches that are, like, international too, and so people are like, when they take the master program, they have an option to have this coach, and they can message them, and uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No.
Oh,
Oh, am I frozen?
yeah, you're
Okay, just
frozen.
let me. Oh, yeah, I see. I'll just.
I can hear you though, so
Okay. No. Yeah. So it's fine for the podcast. Sometimes I freeze. That's just what happens.
now you're good.
Yeah.
I thought it was me, sorry. Um,
No, just like frozen face.
so, um, where was I?
Yeah. So you went coaching. Like, people have the option.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just really cool, like, how much it's grown. It's definitely keeping us all very busy, and we need to start, building our team out. Like we have a pretty good sized team who's helping with everything, but we still gotta get some more people doing more. And like Jake and I, like we wear lots of different hats, and we have to, do all kinds of different things. And so I'm definitely not painting as much as I used to be,
That was my next
consistently.
question, actually.
Yeah.
Do you have time for your personal practice?
Yeah, I mean, I just need to, like, make the time, like, I gotta schedule my time
Mm.
better, and right now I have commissions, and so I'm working on those, and so I don't f like, that's a priority, and so I'm not, like, spending that time on other pieces, which in my heart, like, I wanna paint, like, a series of work and, like, finish out a whole series, but I know that's gonna take a lot of time, and so I just gotta
I
yeah.
feel like sometimes with the custom work, you almost then, like, avoid avoid the studio creating. You're like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
go in there, but then I have to work on
Yes, you're
these."
right.
And you know
Yeah,
what? Okay, so I read a lot of, uh, like, inspirational books, because
mhm,
they always keep me really motivated, like, in a positive way, because I have the tendency to, like, if I don't stick to my routine, and if I don't, like, get a little bit of that in, like, I know myself, and so
mhm,
it keeps me really, because life with kids like takes a lot of work and balance and like always showing up like with lots of energy. So to keep myself in a positive mindset, I read a lot of those. And Jen Sincero is my favorite because
Jensen Sero?
yeah,
Let me
so
write that down.
she writes "You're a Badass." Like she writes "You're a Badass at making money." And I love her book. I don't know if it just came out, but I just got it. But "You're a Badass Every Day." So she has like tiny little quotes, so you can just read like one thing a day, which is super manageable. But it keeps it positive. But
That's
one
cool.
of her main, let's see if I can grab it, but I don't. One of her main things is 15 minutes a day. That's it. So like it sounds like nothing. So if it sounds like nothing, pretty sure you can do it, right?
Yeah.
So 15 minutes a day adds up to a whole bunch over time. So if you just take, and I have those windows with my kids. So like I always take 10 minutes to like whip in and do something not as fast as I can, but it's something and it adds up and it's a start. Like if I haven't started anything personal, or if I haven't written it in my book, like right now I really need to finish my book. I've been talking about it for so long and it like just needs to be done. So I'm like, okay, you know what, Jen, I'm going to do my 15 minutes a day on my book for the next whatever. And we'll like, it's actually kind of hard to like say the thing you're going to do for the 15 minutes. And a really big eye opener for me is when my Photoshop was crashing my computer, editing, whatever. So it crashed it pretty hard. And I was in my studio and my child was napping. I was like, I have to do something. I'll tidy up. Okay. I tidied up. And then I was like, okay, it's still not on. It hasn't come back to life yet.
Oh no.
And then I started just, I had poured some stuff because I'm doing a modern faces portrait. Course I want to do. And so I had pulled some paint on stretched paper. And then so I cleaned that up and put it on my table. And then I just started sketching on it and turned into like this most beautiful thing I've ever. And it's not like it took long. It's not like I was actually talking to my studio manager on the phone at the same time. But it really like the starting is the hardest part,
Yeah,
so
I agree with that. Yeah.
Just get it, have it ready and set up. I feel like cleaning up, tidy up, have it all ready. And then, 15 minutes on this, and then you work on your commission or, and then you're not avoiding and you're like 15 minutes is like no time at all. It'll lead to something really amazing that you didn't expect. And is that one of those stepping stone things that'll lead into the next whatever.
Wow, that's great advice. Yeah.
Now I want to do a whole series of these like beautiful things I did. And I made some like digital versions for prints, and it just like, it took off way beyond because my computer crashed one day. Like,
wow, that's a cool story.
Yeah. So just, give your personal practice 15 minutes a day. Because I can tell you want to, but you can totally like avoid the studio when you have, that's when I hit burnout once. 1 year, 2 years, actually, by the time, I think it was, I've always done custom work, but it really accelerated to the point where I did 130 in 1 year.
Wow.
And they're smaller, they're not oils. So it's not like it's a lot of sketching and I'm very efficient, but it was still way too much.
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
Like, gone and gone on and gone on and gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just didn't realize what I was in, and I just kept going and I couldn't say no, and so I know that feeling. And then it kind of like took away the magic of portraiture at the time, and now it's I increase the prices and don't take out as many. Thank goodness. But definitely dedicate time, and you know what? It makes you feel really good. Like you're like doing it for you. Like you're taking care of yourself, right? Self-care is number one. It's so you can better take care of others or others.
I agree. Yeah.
Sorry, so big rant.
No, that's good. Yeah. Very helpful.
Good. Yeah.
And I'm sure other people watching too, that's inspiring for them.
I talk about a lot. I talk about it in my book. Actually, I'm sure I covered it. Sometimes I go in and write like something and I've written it already. Like, right, that was, except I told a different story in a different way. I'm like, cool.
Well, that's good. I mean, sometimes it's good to repeat, important ideas because people hear it in different ways, and sometimes need to hear it twice or 3 times. So, what kind of book are you writing?
It's motivational as
Mhm.
well, with like some endearing life stories, more like fumbles. But I actually gave like a really big inspirational, um, motivational talk once. I didn't want to. I don't speak publicly, um,
Uh-huh.
but these women insisted I do, and so I've talked about it a lot already, on my podcast. But basically, they were so nice, and I was like, fine. And I
That's
said,
great.
what I have to say. They're like, we think you do have something really important to say, actually. I'm like, okay. And then I worked on it for like 3 months. I really stepped out of myself, and it went really well. And it was called Don't Overthink It. And it was in 2018. And
Mm.
actually, have you read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that book. Yeah.
She talks about how ideas like travel to other
Mhm.
people.
Yes.
So
And if you
I
don't grab onto it, someone else is gonna do it.
So I
Yeah.
gave this presentation a few times after, and in 2020, a book came out called "Don't Overthink It." I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
my idea traveled to someone, and they made a success
Wow.
off of it, which is I'm not mad, like in any way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
I was pregnant again, and in no shape or did I think I could write a book. So, um, I just kind of I started when I burnt out, actually. I needed to create, but in a different way, in a different
Mhm.
medium, fully far out of painting or
That's so
sketching.
cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
And now I've fallen back in love with it, and I'm doing it for me mostly. And I think, yeah, starting the podcast and starting all these different things, that was like a gift, really,
Mhm.
and a happy accident, because I have met so many really incredible, special people, because I burned out, because I decided to travel some different paths. So
Mhm.
it's pretty cool. But yeah, I just talk about basically like, don't waste your time and have the best day ever. I haven't decided on like the main title part, but
Mhm.
I have like three very powerful names, which so that's a bad problem. You have three things that you could see working, but
So what are they?
oh, no, I can't tell yet.
Oh,
I
you can't
gotta
tell?
give you secret, tiny bits of secrets. I'm so bad at secrets. I've at least kept one. Um, but the other, like the tagline under it is seeing the everyday ordinaries as extraordinary. So
Mhm.
basically,
Okay, cool.
yeah. And that came to me while I was like getting a massage, and I made her stop. I was like, I want to write a book. I just decided, and
Right
this is
down.
my mindful testing, right? Like I was forced to like
Oh, it's
sit
so
down on
funny.
this table and basically meditate, right? Because you can't go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it did come to me in like those ideas always come to me like while I'm running or in those meditative states. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm
That's so
really
cool.
excited. But taking a book or writing a book takes a lot of work and a lot of time. I booked myself
Yeah.
a trip, but I booked myself a trip on Thursday after I cried in the laundry room. I got hit. I cried because I got hit in the face with a yo-yo. Okay,
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
by
I
my
would probably
2 year
do the
old.
same.
He didn't mean to hurt me, but it hurt a lot.
I know. Oh my gosh, that's so sad.
Now, though, it's not sad. It's very funny, and I wish it would have gotten caught on camera. And like I was crying and whatever. I was like, you know what? I think I need a solo vacay. First night away in 3 years on Thursday. I'm so excited.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
But I'm like, when was the last time I went away? I was like 3 years ago. Wow. I think I need to
So
probably do this
you're
more often.
gonna go just, like, for a night or a few days?
One night. I can't
Mhm.
go for a few days because I wouldn't want to leave anyone alone with them for that long.
Yeah.
It's just not fair. Like they're
Mhm,
wonderful, but they've got a lot of energy. So
mhm,
I don't want to leave anyone. No one can do it. It's
mhm.
really challenging. They'll be fine. But yeah, I'm going for about 20 hours, hopefully 18, 20 hours, and overnight.
So
Two
you're
and a
hoping to get some
half.
writing
Yeah,
get some done.
I'm gonna go for dinner with my brother. We haven't seen a lot of one another, and yeah, hopefully just like some, even if it's just me time, that's fine too. But I would like to write, and mostly I have to string my book together so it flows in a beautiful way. And that's more challenging than you kind of think. Like, this chapter needs to flow into the next one, into the next one. So 200 pages of that is like a lot, and I've been avoiding it because it is so intense, and I'm like, just 15 minutes, and I've been doing it for like 4 days, and it feels fantastic. So
Cool.
you'll love it.
So how do you like, is this like your first book that you're writing? And like, how do you go about, like, I don't know, like just you start writing like a mind dump and then you're going to organize it later, or how, like, what is your process?
So I did do it that way. Just as soon as I had that like kind of like massage idea, and I made her stop massaging me, and I had to make a voice memo. She wrote that out nuts. Just have to make this quick voice, and then I made it in front of her, which was even more crazy. After that, after I said it out loud, everything just came pouring out of me. And it turns out, I've been blogging, I've been making Instagram posts, creating this narrative. I've been writing a book for years, doing these inspirational, motivational speeches. Like, I have a book. It's just, I need to, mind dump it out onto a document.
Yeah.
And then, and now I just have to organize it. And I've connected with some writers too. And they're like, yeah, that's actually how you do it. So I don't have to take any.
That's cool.
They're like, yeah, you just get it all out and then, kind of organize it after. I think I'm
I'm also writing a book, and I'm writing it with Jake. So we're trying to, it's all about like our love story. And so it's just a series of, stories all gonna like lead to a big moment. And the goal of it is to be like, I want to be inspiring to other people. And it's a lot about destiny and like following what you feel in your heart, and like knowing that it's real. And so, because a lot of people doubt that, like they feel something and they're like, oh, that's just my feelings. But it's important to listen to that. And so
it is.
So, and it's been like, it's a long story. So I just felt like I really want to write about it. And we started it probably over a year ago. And it's something like, you probably relate to that. It's like something that you're meant to do, and it's inside you, but it's just, I haven't put the time to it because I do feel a little lost. Like, I have no idea how to write a book. Like, I do feel like I'm just dumping thoughts out, and I don't know how to organize it or have it like be something great. And so I do battle that doubt, because it's something that's like, I'm confident with painting, but when it comes to other things that I don't know much about, I just feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, why would I make a book if I don't know how to write a book? And so,
well, I battled that my whole life, entire life. Like, I didn't know how to write an essay up until university, which is insane that I got through school without knowing how to write an essay. And people, like, person after person telling me that I was a terrible writer. I wasn't a terrible writer. I'm a very good writer. It's just I didn't know the structural rules, and I had problems expressing myself through it. And I actually finally had a professor in university in the history of Hitchcock course, which is really random. It's not like an essay writing course or anything, but we did have to write an essay. And he you could tell he had his doctorate, and he practiced positive reinforcement. So for me, I had been, thrown through professor after teacher after whatever, even family friends tell me I was terrible and take the route of no positivity in this area of my life at all. And he just really was, he did it, but like in this way that like I wasn't aware. And now I'm fully aware as an established adult in my career with more confidence. And he changed my life. He made me fall in love with writing. And it was an essay on the aesthetics of murder, comparing Thomas de Quincey and Oscar Wilde. And so, and Edgar Allan Poe. So like three big, names in literature, but like who all had different writing styles. So I think just like naturally, like just delving into that for 2 months. I think I spent
Mhm.
2 months on that essay, and then just like learning all the things that I hadn't known, and really, falling in love with writing in a strange way, writing about the aesthetics of murder. So
Yeah, that's
I'm not into horror or anything, but
Uh-huh.
I really love this course. Like we got to watch movies all day, so that was cool. Um, it was such a great course. I that was one of my, and it actually made me fall in love with film. And then I started taking a lot of film courses and minored in film.
Wow, that's
So,
cool.
yeah, it was like one thing. Like I couldn't get into this other history course, and I got a kidney infection, so I had to take a history course. I didn't want to. And my first one I had to drop out of because I had a kidney infection. And then the next semester, the only thing was this Hitchcock course, and I was like, might as well. And yeah, it's
Wow.
the course of my life, kind of. But I want to hear about, now that you're saying about your love story. I want to read the book because like I've
Mhm,
recently got to meet both of you and I'm super interested. I
mhm.
think you should follow on the path that you're on and just like honor the creativity. And the logistics can always feel really heavy, like how are we going to publish it, or is someone going to, like, are we going to go through a publisher, or are we going to
Yeah,
self-publish, or
yeah.
like that part, like the more you think about it, kind of ruins everything. I think the first step is just like getting it all down,
Mhm.
um, and then like somewhat organizing it, and then you can actually pay people to do the rest.
Yeah. Make it good. Um,
Not make it good. They just do the like unfun editing part.
yes. Yeah, yeah.
Like there's a comma missing here.
Yeah. Oh, I am definitely the person who puts too many commas after everything.
I know, me too. I'm like, this feels like a comma spot.
Yeah, and Jake's really good at writing because, he studied that in school, like, that's where he went, specifically for writing, and so he's, like I mean, I think he's also pretty natural at it, it's just, I don't know, flows out of him, and so I
There you go. You don't even need to pay anyone. Jake will just do it.
Yeah, he edited my mom's book too, so, um,
Cool.
I mean, we could probably start there, but yeah, I just gotta, like you're saying, just get it all out. And I mean, both of us. He also needs. So we're doing like half and half. Like I'm writing my perspective, he's writing his perspective, and it's gonna go like every chapter, like back and forth between what we were thinking or what happened, and
Oh,
then
cool.
yeah,
It's like, sorry, like Twilight. It's like the real life Twilight without vampires.
I haven't read. I haven't read Twilight, so I don't know. Yeah.
Like it came out when I was like 18 or 17 or something. So it was like the perfect like time to fall in love with Edward. And
Mhm.
every woman at my age was doing it. So it was just like, actually, no, I remember talking to like 14-year-olds about it. I'm like, oh, did she get back with Edward? And yeah, no, it's super dorky, but
That's funny.
it's just one of those indulgences. Like sometimes things should just be fun, and you
Mhm.
shouldn't feel ashamed or anything. It's just like it was. Yes, it's not going to win an award, but certainly it kept me like, I like to read fun stuff at night because it's just
Yeah.
like easy, and you just go to sleep with a easy breezy mind of like,
Mhm.
you escaped somewhere for a second. It's good to put your thoughts away, or it just like, well, it affects your sleep.
Mhm.
That's number one, always. But oh, I love the idea. I don't think you should feel any sort of like, look at you. You were 13 and you started like being a professional painter. So if you are 22 and want to write a book, I don't think that anything should stop you from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've
Yeah,
got like
I'm gonna do
the
it.
support system, and the to help, right? Like
Mhm.
all things to make it possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I really want to do it. I think I just need to set time aside, like you're saying, every day to just, even if it's just 15 minutes, to just focus on it and um, get into a flow. Because with writing, I feel like you gotta stay in that flow. Otherwise, I mean, with painting too, with anything
Right.
creative, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you know what happens is when you show up every day for something, and this was when my practice really changed too for me, is when I showed up every night. I
Mhm.
really idolized and I was like, I want to do this. this is like, I want to do this all the way. I have to. And I need to show up every night. Every night I get a tea and come down once I got my babies to bed. And it was just that. And then of course, like the whole children thing happened, and like Gus was in here with me and Finn was napping all day. Then I really got to like really show up even more. So I would nap during the day, and then Gus and I would paint all night while his brother had those 2 naps and the sleep, and Gus stayed up later. It was pretty cool. But the thing is about showing up for even those little blips is your brain doesn't, then every day it's stimulated in the same way. So it expects you to create. And if you're not creating, it keeps flowing with those ideas. And like, for example, with my book, like if I'm even not sitting and writing, I'm like cooking dinner, and you're kind of in this state and you're cooking dinner and you're cutting things, and then it just like a paragraph comes to me and you have to get it down right away. So you pause what you're doing and you go, but like it just makes everything consistently keep flowing. And same thing with painting. Like I always get really excited in those states and come back, but you have to show up every day.
Yeah.
If I'm out at night, I like doing something like with friends, which isn't very, I don't know if you're like that as a creator, like kind of like a lone wolf almost. Like I didn't get my studio time today, so if I don't show up in my studio, I hear music, and like it's like, why aren't we doodling right now? What are we up to? Something else.
I relate to that, but I feel like that was I felt that like a few years ago when I was really in that, like with the pressure, like painting like pumping out originals every week. Then if I wasn't in the studio, yeah, you feel something's off balance. Like and I almost felt like guilty too. Like I need to be painting, and so.
Yeah. Maybe that's not a good thing.
I know that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, no, actually that has relaxed in me a little bit since I started outsourcing my creative energy to other things other than just painting. Because also though, like, so I'm running my business. I just got a studio manager. Like if I just paint, like I have a lot of paintings because I feel that innate need to create so often that like I just create. And so yeah, I have so much energy that like, and then so who's gonna sell it? Well, I also have to do that. So it's not like I didn't have the galleries who were putting pressure on me to do that once I decided to not do custom so much. But so like the bodies of work I do have, like I have a few galleries, but not like insane, like, so I'm trying to make that all work myself. So it's not like they're going anywhere really, really quickly, especially when they're big. So yeah, like I have to like check myself, and I'm like, you have to use some of your energy for like not just painting, because you're gonna have a trillion paintings all sitting in your basement surrounding you, and it's gonna be like a hoarding painting situation.
Oh no.
Yeah, I just like, I did a lot of, we had some losses with the birth of my 2 children. My husband lost his dad right after my second son, and we had just lost my mom. So it was like, I think I needed to create. And so it was just like so much creating. I couldn't do anything else. Like
it's really healing,
Yeah, it's a great way to heal.
Yeah.
Because it just is a great, positive, beautiful form of energy. And I think it's good for when I do get custom works. One of my most popular, like the most common one, is for people who have lost a loved one, because it's really hard to hang someone's picture that you've lost in your house. So like artwork is a beautiful dedication to someone. And I really cool. Can connect with them, like, and they're like, oh my gosh, you included a Violet and her name is Violet. Like weird coincidences like that happened all the time. So, oh, my family's back. I hear them. Great. But okay. And so, when did so you started expanding your team, but what year did you get together? Now that we brought up Jake and your love story, when did you guys meet? What year was that? How old were you?
When did we first meet? I
Yeah,
was
I want to kind
16.
of hear it all, but kind
Oh,
of quickly because we're running out of time.
yeah, I will try to make it fast, but
Cole's
it's a long
Notes
story.
version.
Huh?
The Cole's Notes version of your book, and go.
Okay. Well, I was 16 and he was 17. We met at a art conference that my mom was invited to in Flagstaff, and so he lived in Flagstaff. And he, anyways, his grandma was really close with my mom and bought a lot of her paintings. And so, and I never remembered meeting her, but she insisted that she knew me. And then, like before we met, she was like sending my mom pictures of Jake, saying, "Look at how handsome my grandson is, and he's Greek too." And because I'm part Greek, and I was always telling my mom, I want to marry someone who's Greek. Like that's
Really?
important.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And so as soon as I heard that, I was like very interested. And so
Okay, so
then
he
I
is
saw,
handsome and Greek. I am
yeah.
there.
And then I saw his picture, and it was like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, I don't know, like it's like I knew him already. It's like he felt so familiar, and like it was like love at first sight for me. And so even through just seeing his picture.
Wow.
And then, so then we get to the conference and he's there and like I can't even talk to him. I can't even like go and say hi. I'm so shy and embarrassed. And and so yeah, I don't even know if I might have introduced myself and that was that. And so um then like basically it was just I don't know even know how to tell the story. um his brother passed away like a few months later, and that was, super traumatic for his whole family. And it was just like, he was gone way too soon. And so then we offered like his grandma and grandpa and for him to come to Greece with us because we do Greece trips every summer. We take artists to Greece and do tours. So we invited them and they came. And so on that trip, I felt like I got to know him pretty well. And it felt, I mean, he really loved our family. We all got along, like my brothers and sisters, we all um, got to know him. And I was still like in love. But obviously, like we're young and it wasn't good timing. I mean, he just was going through a lot. And so,
Hmm.
and then he was planning to go to college in California. And so there was like this brief moment of time for maybe about a month after we went to Greece together where like like he knew how I felt and he eventually, because his grandma was like constantly pushing for us to be together, it was really off putting for him and
Yeah.
for me. But yeah, like he's like, oh, my grandma's like setting us up. And yeah, but
So lame.
yeah, super lame. So for a short period of time though, like we were dating kind of, and we had like our first kiss, and then he basically started just completely ignoring me. Like, and he lived in Flagstaff and I lived 3 hours from him. So we only had texting. And so yeah, we weren't communicating anymore. And then I saw him like one last time before he was going to college. And I just said, this isn't really good timing. Like, you're going to college. Let's just be friends. He was all relieved. And so, yeah, he went to college for 3 years and I didn't talk to him at all. I mean, it was just, that was that. Um, and so during that time, like, I had a serious relationship with someone else for a year. And the whole time we were together, I felt like, ugh, there's just something not right. Like I just knew, like this guy was great. He was really kind to me.
Sorry, is that an airplane on your end or is that?
It could be,
Okay, you have airplanes. I'm like,
yeah.
but keep going. Okay, so this
the-
guy was not right, but like good, but not for you.
yeah. And I knew him since I was 8, so he was like a childhood friend. But anyways, he was very serious about me and like getting. He always was talking about getting married, and I was probably, I think I was 18 or 19 when we were dating, and so Um, anyways, I ended it after a year. I felt like I should know after a year if he's the one or not. And so I still felt this. Then, as I was like deciding to break up, I got all these dreams about Jake. and like Jake and I together, and it was just out of nowhere. Like it was crazy. And so
Weird.
I felt, it's God like, giving me signs. And so yeah, we broke up, and then um Jake happened to be in Arizona like a month later. And so I texted him and I got his number from his grandma, and she's like so happy and she's trying to get us to meet up. And so we did, and Jake basically like that whole night was telling me how much debt he was in from school, and just how it just wasn't what he was expecting. He felt really lost, like he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and I don't know, like he was really lost is the feeling I had. And
Mm.
so this is long, but
No, that's okay. I love hearing it, and I can relate to like the school thing too.
mhm,
With
yeah,
with I had to serve for 4 years after I
wow,
was in university to pay off my debts.
yeah.
Um, and so that's another reason why don't go.
I know, and especially if you don't know what you wanna do, it's like,
Mhm,
to go
mhm.
to
I
college
feel
if
like if your
yeah,
parents too, but if even if it was paid for and you're I'm glad. I'm glad I had to pay for it because it taught me a lot of
yeah,
lessons.
yeah,
It is overwhelming to, have that
yeah,
amount of debt, and to like, there's not like I moved back to where I was from, and there wasn't an art job related job in the whole place, like there's
mhm.
just nothing. So my mom's like, well, you're not living with me for free, so go get a job.
Oh
um,
my gosh,
and I
yeah,
was like, I don't want to serve anymore. I've been serving since well, my dad is a chef, so I've been like in the food industry my whole life, and I just didn't want to do it anymore, but it was very important to my path. And
yeah.
so I wouldn't ever take it back. But funny thing is, I worked for a Greek family for 4 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I experienced the whole Greek family
Yes,
thing for
they
so
can be very
long.
intense.
Greek culture, and they too have a place there, and they go for a month. They shut down their whole restaurant for a month and go to
Wow,
Greece every year.
that's so cool.
I'm still very good friends with them, and yeah, they're really amazing people. And Tina is like retired from the restaurant, but has her own cooking show now.
Wow, that's so
Yamas
cool.
with Yaya, Yamas with Yaya. Does that sound?
Uh-huh,
Anyways,
yeah, that sounds right.
it
Yeah.
started. So yeah, they're really cool. And back to when you said you didn't feel like the love was right, and people who are young,
Oh, I'm so sorry if you heard that. Okay.
um, love, you do. You just know when you know. And
Yes.
if you don't know, you're not in love. It's
Yeah.
just like, so you guys came back, or you met him, and he was kind of like overwhelmed by that debt.
Yeah, yeah, and then he was just lost in general, and, like, I don't know, like, he didn't know what he was gonna do, and he didn't tell his family, so that night was like, he told me, but he didn't tell anyone in his family yet, and so, after that point, he did tell them, and they were all shocked, and, like, and there was more to it, but,
Mm.
he so after that, it was kind of like this is the part of the story where there's a lot of, like, weird details, like, it just kind of he his grandma is really close with him and really cares about him a lot, and like probably the only like rock in his life, like his mom and everyone else is just, he can't really rely on them. So she was, always trying to like be there for him. And so she called my mom and said, is there any way Jake can live with you guys? This is after he told his grandma, like, I don't want to go to college anymore, and there's all this debt, I don't know what I want to do. Yeah.
Not
And so
happy.
yeah, and so, um, my mom said, "He can, but he needs to call me himself and tell me he actually wants that." And so my grandma was figuring there's, like, something that we could have him do, like, as for a job with the school, and then plus she wanted, him to be near us and me, and so, um,
She knew all along.
yeah,
He
and
won.
so
Sounds
yeah.
like, yeah, amazing. I want to meet her.
She's a cool lady.
Yeah.
She can be very intense, like, with her opinions. I mean, she has tons of opinions, and a lot of times she's right, so but, yeah, to some people, it's off-putting, but,
My
anyways
mom was like that.
Yeah.
Like, don't even argue. It's not worth it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just listen and do it, and
That's probably
you'll
how she is, yeah.
you'll regret it if you don't.
So, he ended up calling my mom and saying, like yeah, genuinely, he wanted to come live with us, and he'd be willing to do anything, like, any sort of job, and, so that was set, and it was so weird because with the timing of everything, it was just such weird timing, but, like, Michael, the guy that I was with, was still living with us, like, trying to move out and, like, because we had this big property and, like, 2 different houses with the school, and so we had a lot of people who worked at the business, like, we all lived together, so there was, like, tons of rooms and yeah, it's like this artist commune hippie house.
Whoa.
And so yeah, we lived that way for a few years. So anyways, we had like a boys' house and a girls' house, and then my parents lived in the boys' house. Um, so so Michael was still living there, like while Jake was gonna be coming, like moving in. It was just so awkward, and so like yeah, he had to be kicked out, and um, yeah.
Okay, so you had four. There's 4 girls in your family.
There's three girls, one boy. So I have
Okay.
2 sisters and a brother. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we
You
had
would need
the
your own space.
yeah, yeah. And so, yeah, it was nice having 2 houses, but then okay, so Jake was moving in and, it took a while, for him to really, like he was going through a lot. He still wasn't totally healed, from his brother, and I felt like he just during that time was, like, a lot of healing for him, and we weren't gonna be together right away, like, I knew he still was lost and, like, needed to find himself, and the whole time that I was interested in him, I was the one, like, chasing after him, and I knew, like, that's not right, like, that just won't work. Like, he needs to actually want me for me. Like, if we're gonna be together, that has to be that way. And I still felt deep down like we
And
were
in
meant to be
fairness to you
together.
as well. Like, in
Yeah.
fairness to you, like, you deserve
Yes.
that. You
Yeah.
deserve to be loved, and
Yes. And
the
it
same way you're putting it out, and
was hard to learn that. It was hard to, like, let go because I felt so strongly that we're supposed to be together. So it was like I was fighting myself to, like, I would wanna go spend time with him, and I thought, "No, like, I need to just focus on painting, do my own thing, and if it's meant to be, it'll happen." And so as soon as like I stopped like chasing him and it's weird because we were all living together and working in the business together and he was doing a lot of filming um and like copywriting for us. And so like we're around each other all the time, but it was kind of awkward because like he knows I like him, but I didn't want to be pushy either. And so it was just like this weird time, but it really I don't know, it all worked out. And like he really started to just he had this moment with God and just like his life really changed and he felt so like he came back to his true self and he
mhm.
realized like his destiny and everything. And then he took the master program. We had like this 4-month course that was like the intense version of the master program, which it was kind of an experiment, but we thought maybe we could do the whole master program in 4 months. And so he took part of that class and it worked out. And like he found his style and this way of painting. And so that was like really cool for him to really like find that he's an artist too. And he's very creative in everything, like writing, music. It's like he's naturally just creative in a lot of different areas. Like, you met him, so
Yeah, no,
yeah.
he sounds like again, I'm gonna reference pop culture, even though I'm not into it. I just have a memory for, like, weird facts. Justin Timberlake was interviewed or no, Jessica Biel, his wife, was on Ellen, I think. And when I used to work in a real job, like a 40-hour job,
Uh-huh.
and in the morning I would hopefully no one from that past job is listening, but in the morning I would get there. This is where I think like this is what's wrong with society is that I could get all my work done in about 2 hours and I would just waste time for a long time.
Oh my gosh.
And it, like killed my soul. But I would get there and like start work and no one was there yet because I'm one of those also show up early kind of people. So I would show up half an hour early before everyone got there. Which waitressing with the Greek family taught me.
Yeah.
Um, Work ethic, like so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
so much work ethic because they immigrated here and they had to start their own business from scratch.
Yeah.
It's a very inspirational story.
That's cool.
Actually, Spiro should definitely write a book.
Mhm.
He's so smart and learns languages on the side just for fun. Anyway,
Wow.
he's such an interesting guy. But I would show up to my next job after that. And I would watch Ellen in the morning when I got there and have like my tea and whatever. I would catch up on Ellen before like Facebook was super huge or Instagram or anything.
Mhm.
So yeah, Jessica Biel, right, said Justin Timberlake, she's like, he of course is a creative musician, and she's like, but it's so annoying. He's like good at everything. He's like doesn't have to try. He'll show up to a basketball game and like just play basketball or pick up an instrument and
That's
or
exactly
like,
how Jake is. Like
like,
everything he
so
tries.
annoying. He's just like does it and he's great at it. And yeah.
Yeah. And even like every board game, like we play a lot of board games and he'll win every single game, even if it's something he's never played before. It's very annoying.
Like good, but you're like, oh, come on. Just
Yeah,
like one
too
thing.
smart.
You gotta find the bad thing he's at and like do it more often just to like humble him.
So that's basically our story. I mean, that's shortened, but it took him some time, but like eventually he realized
I
we
love
were
it.
right for each other. So
Yeah, you were very patient. You had to almost play a game a little bit.
yes.
One game you won. The
Yeah.
important one. But I think if someone saw it who loved him so much, I think that would have been, you know, someone who could see from the outside, even though you're quite young and just maybe not ready for, you know, so that's very cool. I love that. And I want to read it in a book. So definitely take your 15
Okay.
minutes a day on that.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Get it down. And call it Twilight. No, there's too many Twilights to be.
Yeah.
No, I can't wait. Yeah, it's our time is so up. But
This
I
went
do
by
have
really fast.
questions forever. And thank you for being on. And I think we should have like episode 2 with like your mom.
Yes, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that. So we'll do 2 for sure. And thanks for sharing. Oh, where can everyone just tell everyone where they can find you first?
So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I have my website, and it's just Dimitra Milan. And so, yeah, that's pretty simple.
Yeah, no, that's great. Perfect.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I sure do appreciate you being here today or tonight or in the morning. Singing again when I say goodbye because I get uncomfortable with saying goodbye. Again, check out our current collection, the Self-Love collection. That will be in for like, I don't know, like 35 more days or something in the BHA gallery, and that's at brandyhofer.ca. It will be turning over to our current call for art, which you can still apply to. It's Like a Mother. We have a guest curator, Erica B. Hess from I Like Your Work podcast. So if you are a creative, and you probably are if you're listening to our podcast, we would love it if you applied to be a part of this beautiful exhibition that is so dear to our hearts. So again, that's at brandyhofer.ca, call for art, and you'll see it's called Like a Mother. And it's, you know, really we're lifting other creative parents and females up. Yeah, because it's an important part of our journey, and I just love it so much. I'm not gonna cry. Okay, it's been a day, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why that triggered something, but I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that everyone is here to give and receive everything we're about, and it really means the world and is so special that you are here with me and us, and keep on being you and keep on shining.